Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are still here at the New York Auto Show. Of course, having to stop at the Dodge booth. It wouldn't be a complete show if we didn't stop at the Dodge booth. And what do I have for you? I got this bad mamma jamma for you. This is the first time ever being seen in public, Destroyer Gray 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona. But before we just dive into this, let's talk about what the heck I'm gonna do here. So, as many of you are aware, the Charger Daytona EV hasn't been a huge sales success, and to be quite frank, it upset a lot of the hardcore muscle car Mopar fans. What Dodge is saying though is they have more to come for model year 2026. They say that the Hemi V8 engine is gonna make a return. That's very interesting because, as we know, this car is electric, dual motor. They're gonna have to make quite a bit of changes to drop in a Hemi V8. They do have the upcoming, this summer, upcoming six-pack, which is gonna be that Hurricane straight six, 3 liters of displacement, twin turbochargers that gives you 550 horsepower. With a supercharged V8, things are kind of limitless when we look at what kind of performance this car might have. But what I want to do with this review is I want to, first of all, show you this Destroyer Gray on the new body. But I also want to talk about what changes are they going to have to make to put a V8 underneath the hood. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and have a little chit chat about it. First of all, Destroyer Gray, as you know, my Demon 170 is Destroyer Gray, and I really think it kind of gives the car an extra killer attitude, and that's what color could do for you. It could make or break a vehicle. Now at the front of the business, with this being an RT Charger Daytona, of course you have that R-wing, so that's where you have that aerodynamic device which gives it such a sinister look, but also functionality with that front wing style. This right off the bat is going to be gone when it comes to something else being underneath the hood, because underneath the hood you have an optional storage space, cargo space. With a six-pack or especially a V8, the hood is going to have to come up. It's going to have to come up. It cannot be this low and have an internal combustion engine underneath the hood. So this is the first thing that's going to be killed, is the beautiful R-wing. Now with that being said, there's gonna obviously be an addition of a hood scoop, a heat extractor, or both of them. So that's gonna help with the functionality, but also with that muscle car aggressive style. Now, a lot of people out there, when it came to the wide bodies, they didn't like that name with the previous generation, because basically it was just stuck on fender flares. This literally has a wide body. This is 3 inches wider than a wide body Charger from the previous generation. That gives it that awesome muscle car stance. And that's gonna help, obviously, with what will be the engine compartment when they come out with this internal combustion engine powered Charger. Now, if you look at the style really harks back to that 1968 Charger from the original muscle car days. And remember, the birth of the muscle car was 1966 for this muscle car. 1966 was the first year of the Charger. All of them were 2-door. So if you're saying, why is this 2-door? That makes me mad. They were always 2 doors. They didn't become 4 doors until the previous generation. So get that whole 2-door, 4-door out of your head. This you can get as a 2-door, and they also will have it as a 4-door. Now, some of the other things that they're gonna have to change is the bottom corner area. These are fake, which I originally gave a zonk to, and I'll give a zonk to it again. On the Hemi powered one, these are gonna have to be enlarged, and they're gonna have to be functional. I still think you're gonna find the same lower lip splitter. That goes without saying. And then the lower grille area here, which looks fantastic, is fully functional already on the EV. Another thing is, where are they gonna put the Fratzog badge? because I think that's an important element moving forward, having the Frat Zog badge not only on the Charger Daytona, but also on the upcoming Charger Hellcats. And of course, that forward-facing camera. But let me know some of your thoughts about the front end and what you think is gonna need to be changed. Now, as we rise up, like I said, the hood is gonna have to have a bigger bulge. It's gonna have to sit up. My guess is that it's gonna be flush. So the hood will open and close here, and it will be flush with the R-wing, which is what now is an R-wing, and this will be all filled in to allow for more air for the engine. And then you could put your hood scoop, you could put your heat extractors, and you'll have that muscle car bulge. That's what I think. Another thing that we kind of have to remember is crash safety testing. They've done their crash safety testing to this vehicle, the way it sits. They've done the crash safety testing to the 6-pack. It's gonna take time to get the V8 powered one through crash safety testing. So we're gonna see how soon next year this Hemi supercharged power is gonna come. Plus, you also have to think about making room in the engine cradle. Now, as we move down the side of the vehicle, wheels and tires, they did a bang-up job. The wheels definitely look 10 times better than the previous generation. This is just the RT. So this RT has 20-inch wheels, large V-spoke design. Tires are gonna be 275 up front, and then 40 series sidewall. Yes, you do have things like regen braking, but you're not gonna have that on the supercharged Hellcat version of the Charger. Because remember, when we say Charger Daytona, that specifically talks about the EV. Charger 6-pack will obviously have the straight 6, and then it's yet to be seen about a Charger Hellcat return with the supercharged V8. But do you like the wheels? I love the wheels on this RT. And like I said, there is a Scat Pack version of this as well, which has even nicer wheels. Now, coming down the side, you're still gonna have your side fender badge, of course. This one has that stage 1 power upgrade because of it being the Charger Daytona. You have your gloss black on your mirror caps. One of the biggest changes that they made to the availability of add-ons to the car is the full panoramic glass roof. This will be interesting to see if this crosses over into the 6-pack and down the road, the Hemi powered Charger, if it will have the availability of that fixed glass panoramic roof. 2-door on this one, but there will be a 4-door version. What's fascinating is that the rear seat volume for passenger space is the same amount whether you go 2-door or 4-door. So they engineered it very smartly to have that easy connection with passenger volume. Working towards the rear, when you look at the rear wheels and tires on this one, it's 275 squared, but we all know that on the wide body, those were 305s all 4 corners. So it's gonna be interesting to see how much wider they go with the wheels and tires on that 2026 version. And then coming around back, probably one of the biggest advantages of this Charger Daytona is that rear Sportback hatch design. If you thought your previous generation Charger had a lot of trunk space, this has even more. Plus, it really just helps with the overall aesthetics. You got your racetrack daytime running lamp, just like up front. You have that racetrack drag strip setup of your daytime running lamp. You got your badging, the Frat Zog, and then working our way down to ground level, the biggest difference between the Charger Daytona and the 6-pack, obviously, is you have the Frat Zonic chamber on the back of this. On that 6-pack, you're gonna have your dual outlet exhaust on both sides, and that's been seen already around Detroit being tested. So it's gonna be interesting how soon they come out with the ICE version of this car. But why don't we get inside, because I think that's the part that most people are gonna appreciate the most, whether you go Daytona or wait for one of the ICE versions. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona in Destroyer Gray. I'm loving the color. Now remember, the RT has 2 electric motors producing over 500 horsepower. If you go Scat Pack, that's over 600 horsepower. But I know it's the internal combustion engine numbers that you really want to know. So the 6-pack high output Hurricane is going to be 550 horsepower. It's going to be interesting to see what are they going to do when they bring back the supercharged Hemi. If this is a Hellcat, how much horsepower will it have? What's ironic is sitting here in this car right now, it was exactly 10 years ago when they came out with the original Hellcat. And that car changed everything, 707 horsepower with a full warranty. As you know, those final editions broke the 800 horsepower barrier. And then of course the Demon 170 on E85, 1,025 horsepower. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with a Hellcat version of this. Also pricing. A Hellcat Red Eye is easily, from the previous gen, was $100,000 MSRP. This car that we sit in right now has an MSRP of $51,000. If you want a Scat Pack Charger Daytona, it's $81,000. So I'm expecting those other models to be up there in price. Don't think you're gonna get a bargain discount. But let's see what changes they made to the interior, because no matter which way you go, you're gonna get this same great interior. Let's check it out. To the door panels. Love the way everything has been modernized. You have your soft touch material, the red and white contrast stitching, and then you'll notice the ambient lighting. Right now I have it set to green mode because I'm feeling kind of like Hulk smash right now at the auto show. I want to Hulk smash some people that I've run into. You do have a button in the center to pop open the door. And then what's interesting is that they actually give you a New York hot dog holder on the back portion, that big foot long. And then up front, you could put a New York bagel with extra cream cheese and a cup of coffee to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same story. Revolutionized, everything has been upgraded. You got the Daytona badge, the stitching, especially the red and the white contrast stitching, more soft touch. And then slide on in, you have a 12.3-inch infotainment system. This is the new updated, upgraded infotainment system. Cameras out the wazoo you could access. Here's your home screen. You got all your different apps. This is where you could change your colors. Watch this. You don't want to be Hulk smash? I want to go red. That looks really good. Now I just changed all the lighting, all by the power of my index finger. And then, of course, you have your other controls that are specific performance pages, which are nice to see. All that set up with your gauges, your propulsion, your G-force, all those things you're familiar with. Plus, you have your drive modes, which are great. That's another thing that you're going to have with the Hemis and everything. We all know it's coming. AC controls, physical switchgear to use the dual climate. Heated seats, no ventilated seats on this particular one. Down below, you got 2 USB-Cs, home power source, wireless charging with a cooling fan, and you got a place for 4 track day Twinkies. The air's getting kind of crazy in here right now. The return of the pistol grip shifter with red stitching. It'll be interesting to see if they will offer a manual transmission or if it will just be the TorqueFlite 8-speed. You got your power on button. This will be your start stop button for your engine. 2 cup holders, soft touch material with your dual stitching. Open this up. You got a 12 volt. Gonna want to run a radar detector. And this is where you could keep your little jar of all the tears of the people that were complaining about this car when you pull up in your supercharged Hellcat. And they're like, what? That's nice. Anyways, seats, the leather, the stitching, nice. They're so modern looking. You got power controls for the passenger, power controls for the driver, of course. I love that panoramic glass roof. And then watch this. You got your enlarge and in charge backseat area. Plenty of room for even your friends that are adults. So what's nice about this is, unlike the Mustangs, you don't have to just hang around Ewoks and Munchkins. You could actually hang out with some real adults and they could fit back there. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Dodge. All right, guys, we're inside this business time of the 2-door Charger. You do have a nice aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle. I just wish the dead pedal was aluminum, but they did make the dead pedal larger compared to the last generation. You have all your seat controls, easy to get to. I'm 6 feet tall. There's plenty of freaking room in here. And then the wheel, look at this, flat bottom, 2 different types of leather, the perforated, the smooth, the red stitching. You'll hopefully be able to have like a power shot on your Hemi. That would add that extra kind of boost from the supercharger. Flat black on the switchgear, paddles that would allow you to go up and down your 8-speed, TorqueFlite 8-speed automatic. It is a powered tilting and telescoping wheel. Look at the ambient lighting, it goes all the way to the edge. And we have the optional 16-inch digital gauge cluster. Now you'll have the biggest to all your friends. When your friends whip out theirs, you'll have the biggest, you'll have the largest. Nice to have all of that new technology and a head-up display. But why don't we go ahead, let's open up the rear cargo area and see if you could fit all your track day goodies in this Charger. All right guys, time to show off that new cargo area. So you're just gonna hit the button, up it rises, power lift. And like I said, if you have a previous generation Charger, the amount of cargo space is quite down ridiculous, just how much you get. And this is gonna be perfect, like I said, if you're gonna take this to the drag strip, especially when they come out with the 6-pack and eventually down the line, the return of the Hemi, you'll be able to get your jack in here, your jack stands, maybe have a couple sets of wheels with some drag slicks on them, and that'll allow you to be able to carry all that with you. And the fact that it's nice and power is fantastic as well. So you hit the button, nice electric assist, brings it back down. But great that Dodge has brought, especially this particular one being in Destroyer Gray, the first time seen in public Destroyer Gray. It would have been nice to show you the 4-door, the 6-pack, but we all know that those are coming, so stay tuned. But let me know in the comment section about some of the things that we talked about. Do you agree with what I said, with what's gonna have to be changed to make this a Hellcat? And are you gonna be a buyer if this has a Hellcat version? Let me know in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. Got to give up to Lori Raiti. She knows how to work the crowd, keep them back, keep their distance, and get them out of here. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.